Hello good people, this is Neo once again from the Overclocker, and today I'm here to talk to you about the most slept on notebook series in the country. That's right, I'm talking about Wootware's Wootbook series, specifically the Wootbook Ultra Y16. So let's be clear, Wootbooks aren't new, and in fact, I previously reviewed an early model way back in 2020 in the Wootbook 2 Ultra. Since then, however, a lot has changed, and believe it or not, for less money today than back then, you can get a better notebook in every possible way without exception. Let's just begin with the design, shall we? The Ultra Y16 is, if anything, understated and subtle to the point of being passable. Not a bad thing, as not everyone appreciates designs that wear their gaming bona fides on their proverbial sleeve. Whatever environment this notebook is in, however, it fits in very well. The only time that you may be aware of its gaming credentials is when the keyboard lighting is enabled, which by default is turned off. Normally, I'm not one for labels on devices, but the Wootbook could do with a Wootware or a Wootbook logo somewhere, even if it's just a sticker. And the reason I say this is because those I've shown the notebook to and have been actually impressed by it are likely going to need a visual cue of sorts to make it easier to recall the name. A missed opportunity for a notebook that for the most part has no meaningful competition. Size-wise, it's a larger notebook given that it's a 16-inch screen. At 2.4 kilograms is rather sleek, with most of the mass located towards the middle and rear where most of the heat sinks and major components are. On paper, it may seem a bit chunky, but it actually doesn't look it or feel it in the flesh. Where connectivity is concerned, it's kept rather basic. You get an SD card slot and 3 USB ports, 2 on the right and 1 on the left, where you'll also find the microphone and audio combo jacks. 2 USB ports are USB 3.0, 5 gigabits per second, and one, for some particular reason, is USB 2.0. At the rear of the notebook, you'll find an HDMI, a mini display port, a Thunderbolt 4/USB Type-C port, and a 2.5G Ethernet port. Personally, I would have liked to see the Thunderbolt port on the side, as I'd gladly forgo the USB 2.0 for this premium location. Outside of this, it's difficult to find a place where one could improve on the Ultrabook Y16, especially at this price. So since we're talking about price, the tested configuration is about 31,000 rands. However, I'd strongly suggest you get an extended warranty, which increases it from 1 year to 3 years for an additional 1800. Well worth it, because this notebook should last you at least 3 years. How this is possible is simply down to the specification really. While there are plenty of combinations available, the model I'm using is powered by AMD's new 8845HS CPU with AI capabilities mainly via its NPU and Radeon 780M graphics processor. The CPU itself is Zen 4 based, with 8 cores operating at a peak frequency of 5.1 GHz. The model has been paired with 32 GB of DDR5 memory in a high-speed Gen 4 1TB drive. Graphics is courtesy of NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 4070 Mobile Edition with 8 GB of GDDR6 memory. So in as far as specifications go, this model most certainly qualifies as a gaming notebook. The Radeon 780M, being the primary display output driver, outputs to a 2560 by 1600 16-inch IPS display with an amazing 240Hz refresh rate. The image quality is sharp, vibrant, with no color shifting even at the most extreme angles. The DPI is naturally high and plays to the notebook's gaming credentials. So then, how is gaming on this notebook? Well, benchmarks in the traditional sense here don't make much sense because there's only so much they can tell you. The specifications can vary very wildly, and depending on what you select for your machine, you can get different performance. For instance, you can select an RTX 4050, 4060, 4070 as I have here, or if you go with an Intel high-end model, an RTX 4080. You can also get this model with various Intel or AMD CPUs. There are a variety of options for you to choose from, and you can, if you want, have up to 4 TB of storage and 96 GB of memory on the AMD models. What's really great about buying these though is that you can see the price changes to your configuration in real time. But more than that, the 3D view of the notebook is rather awesome. You can see the notebook as is in full 3D, where you can rotate, zoom in and out of various sides of the unit. It's a neat feature and one that I've only ever seen on the Wootbooks at Wootware. Now keep in mind that once again, this is the first video I'm making with this notebook. The second one will come later on, where I will be covering more performance enhancing options that ship with the Y16. I'll include more detailed performance figures and how you can not only maximize performance but extend battery life at the same time. The flexibility in terms of what this notebook software allows you to do is quite remarkable. I will speak at length about this in the second video, But keep in mind that because of the size, type and resolution of the screen, you might want to play at 1920 by 1200 or that 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Reason being that NVIDIA's mobile GeForce parts have mostly narrow memory buses. In this model, it's only 128 bits wide. The most obvious place where you will notice this is when attempting to game at the native resolution or higher. However, you actually don't need to do that because, as I've said, the pixel density here is quite high for a 16-inch screen. Therefore, I'd say drop the resolution down to 1200p, and by using DLSS and frame generation, you can play virtually every game with ray tracing enabled at above 60 FPS. Not bad for what is otherwise a desktop 4060 equivalent. Anyway, I'll be doing some more long-term testing with it, which includes extensive video editing and gaming throughout the next month and during Computex. Wootware's Ultrabook Y16 is an incredible workhorse for this, and because of its dual GPU nature, I can take advantage of multiple encoders simultaneously. In addition to this, I'm also able to game on the go while consuming just over 60 watts of power. All this and more in the follow-up video of the Wootbook Ultrabook Y16. If you don't want to wait until then, however, and need a fairly powerful gaming notebook right now, you are unlikely to find better value for money than what the Wootbooks have to offer. And in fact, when I tried to find a similar specification from another premium brand, it was 10,000 Rand more. So for 32,700 or so, with the extended warranty of course, there simply isn't a better notebook to buy locally. Until the next time, however, let me know what you guys think of Wootware's Wootbook Ultra Y16. Would you consider it? Would you buy it? Are you fortunate enough to have one already? Let me know in the comments below. And until then, remember to share, like, and subscribe. But most importantly, take care of yourselves and peace.